You know, part of the reason I really like doing these videos at the end of the year, I can make sure that my suit jacket still fits. So another year of movies is in the books. Now it's time for me to talk about my top 10 favorite movies of 2018. Same disclaimer I give every year. I didn't see every single movie that came out this year. Actually, I saw a good amount less than I usually see. I was just a little busy, didn't really have time to take chances on too many movies. And because I was so busy this year, of the movies that I saw in 2018, I reviewed even less of them. So a lot of these movies, I don't have reviews for on my channel. I'm sorry about that. A couple of them I do have little like snippet reviews for though. They were part of like compilation reviews. So if you want, you can go and dig through those videos, but I'll talk about each movie a little bit in this one. While I did see a little less, it's still a great year for movies. Let's get the list started. Also next year, can someone remind me to change those animations? I've been using the same ones for the last 3 years. Number 10 was Black Panther. Black Panther was competing with a few other movies for this spot, but I put it on because while this movie did feel like a comic book movie, it was able to present everything in a really new and fresh way. I liked the new location of Wakanda, I liked Michael B. Jordan as the villain, and I think Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa is a nice departure from a lot of the other sarcastic, smooth-talking heroes of the MCU. He's a lot more reserved, maybe a little more dramatic here and there, but I thought this movie did a really good job at telling a really grand, almost Shakespearean type of story within the MCU. At number 9, I have A Quiet Place. I remember seeing the first trailer for this movie when The Last Jedi came out, and while everyone was talking about The Last Jedi, every single time I went back to see that movie and I saw the trailer for A Quiet Place, I was thinking to myself, that movie's gonna be something special. And it was awesome. What I wasn't expecting though was how emotional they were gonna make this movie. Like, this movie does have the scares, but all the stuff with John Krasinski's daughter in this movie, with Emily Blunt's character as well, that was all handled with a lot of care, and I think it's the reason why this movie has such longevity. At number 8, we have Black Klansmen. I really like Black Klansmen. It's that one movie, I feel like there's a movie every summer that the little drama that tries to sneak through all the summer blockbuster crowd. This year that movie was Black Klansmen. I thought John David Washington, I think that's his name, I might be mixing up some of those first names. Him and Adam Driver were both awesome, and Spike Lee was able to do a really good job of balancing the drama with the comedy. You could lean too hard on either side with this story. Spike Lee walked the line like a master. I'm not gonna sit here and say that like, this is the best Spike Lee movie I've ever seen, because the only other movie I've seen by him is Do the Right Thing. But Black Klansman was pretty awesome, and it was a big standout for me this summer. Number 7, I don't know if this is a controversial pick or not, but I go to the movies to have fun. I always have that one movie on the list every year that maybe doesn't belong on the list, but for me, it does. That's Bohemian Rhapsody. I really like Queen, and I've realized in the last few years, I feel like I'm a sucker for musical biopics. But what I want a movie to have whenever I go see it is have an energy to it. Whether it's a really exciting energy, whether it's a creepy energy like A Quiet Place. Watching Bohemian Rhapsody felt electric. It had that rock concert feeling, obviously because a lot of this movie is rock concerts. But at no point in this movie was I really bored. Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury, still one of the best performances of the year. I don't know if he's gonna get nominated for an Oscar for it, but he was really solid. The rest of the band was really good, and the music, of course, was great. I thought Bohemian Rhapsody was awesome. At number 6, one of my favorite directors of all time, I'm really glad this movie made the list, Ready Player One. Another movie that maybe isn't technically one of the greatest movies of the year, but was an absolute blast to watch in the theaters and at home many times afterwards. It harkened back to the old Spielberg movies of the kids taking on the man. It also doesn't hurt for me that the movie had a lot of video game and movie references in it. And the movie also had a surprisingly touching ending about the role that pop culture can play in our society. I saw a quote recently from Dead Poets Society where Robin Williams says something to the effect of like, science, medicine, doctors, all that stuff is great, and that's what keeps us alive. But poetry, that's why we stay alive. I feel like that can also be applied to movies, video games, art in general, and this movie really celebrated that. Number 5 is a movie a lot of people were really psyched about when it came out, and I was like, is it really that good? Yeah. Upgrade was really that good. A lot of people have said this already. This movie's the better version of Venom. It helps that you have Logan Marshall Green in the lead, who looks a lot like Tom Hardy. But I really liked how this movie had an old school like RoboCop or Blade Runner type of feel to it. And while there is action in this movie, it wasn't afraid to take its time with its story and its characters. Particularly the relationship between Logan Marshall Green and this AI that's in his head. This movie gripped me. I was on the edge of my seat till the very end of this movie, and the ending had me thinking about it months after it came out. At number 4, Michael B. Jordan makes the list again with Creed 2. Maybe Creed 1 is a technically better movie. Creed 2 was a really entertaining one though. It used all the strengths of the Rocky franchise to its advantage. The training montages, the boxing, the heart, the family elements. I don't know where they're going to go from here. Maybe it's best to just end it here, but Creed 2 and Creed 1, a great continuation of the Rocky franchise. Number 3 was a long time coming. It paid off. I'm really glad it did. Avengers Infinity War. A 10-year culmination of movies. The last time we saw anything close to this was probably the end of the Harry Potter series. But even that doesn't come close to what Marvel's been able to do over the last 10 years with their now 20 movie catalog. The majority of which have been really solid, some of the best comic book movies of all time. They've really been able to shift the tone of what people thought comic book movies were. We had Raimi, we had Singer's X-Men movies, but something about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It has really exploded comic book movies to what it is now. Josh Brolin as Thanos, he brought the heat in this movie. The movie had sweet action, sweet comedy, it all built up to this, and it all paid off. Well, we have Avengers Endgame, but up to this point, it's paid off tremendously. Number 2, best movie I saw this summer, it was Mission Impossible Fallout. These last few Mission Impossible movies have always been so solid. Maybe Mission Impossible isn't at the forefront of my mind all the time like Star Wars, Marvel, and DC are, but the last few that have come out have been like my most anticipated movies of the year. This one was also one of my most anticipated movies of the year. Didn't let me down in the slightest. As far as just favorite movie moments this year, I'd say Cap appearing in Infinity War, the Live Aid scene in Bohemian Rhapsody, and then without giving away any spoilers, the scene in Fallout with Henry Cavill and Solomon Lane inside of like that bunker underground. I know that was really vague. I'm trying not to give away spoilers for that movie, but that scene was really awesome. Again, another movie that just felt like a non-stop rush from start to finish. I was hooked throughout the entire thing. And this isn't a short movie either. I think this one's like 2.5 hours. Never felt bored during it. And now my number 1 movie of the year. I don't think I ever did a review for this one, which is a total shame. It's one people were telling me about, and I was thinking, okay, I'll go see it because it's probably going to be cool or interesting. But Searching, that was an experience. Even going into the movie, again, I heard it was good. I didn't know how good it was going to be. I didn't know how much I was going to like it. The intrigue in this movie keeps you guessing until the very end, and the techniques they use where they filmed the whole thing with like Skype and Google Maps and all of those like desktop things, you really felt like you were finding all this stuff out at the same time as John Cho's character. There have been missing persons movies like Searching, but Searching just felt so fresh. The way they told the story was really interesting, and it really helped to propel just the mystery behind the whole thing. While I love the big budget comic book action movies, something about Searching just completely hooked me. I want to see it again. I think it's already out, so I gotta go buy that. But yeah, Searching, favorite movie of this year. And that's it. Those are my favorite movies of this year. If I had to put one honorable mention in there, I say this every year, I don't like doing them. I've started doing honorable mentions in the past few years. I'm putting Paddington 2 in there, and one of the main reasons it didn't make the list is because technically it's a 2017 movie, but go see Paddington 2 as well. But also see these other 10 movies first before you do that. So everyone's lists are going to be different, so let me know what your top 10 favorite movies were of this year down in the comments. But one last time for 2018, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, click subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you guys next year.